A very good day to you people. My name is Mohit and today we'll learn in Flash cs5 how to work with the bone tool. We'll keep the bind tool, which is a part of the bone tool, for some other day, for some other video tutorial, but for this video tutorial I'll confine myself to the bone tool. Guys, this is the Adobe Flash Professional cs5 welcome screen, and I'm going to start my project by creating new ActionScript3 file. When I do that, I am presented with a white stage, the size of which is 550 by 400 pixels. The frames per second is defaulted to 24 frames. This is the timeline, guys, and I'm on layer 1. Now I'm going to make a small rectangle. Okay, then I will convert it to a movie clip. Keep the registration point top left, say OK. For this example I can leave the instance name blank, which is fine. I'm gonna do a copy paste several times. So Control C, Control V, V, V. Okay. Guys, I'm gonna spread these four movie clips a little away from each other. Okay, that's fine. Then I'm gonna hit the bone tool, the shortcut key for which is M for Mohit, that is my name, and I'm gonna click anywhere, and I mean anywhere, on the first movie clip, drag it and leave it on the second movie clip, drag it again, leave it on the third one, and so on and so forth on the fourth one. So guys, I've connected all these four objects or green boxes with the bone tool. Then I'm going to select the selection tool, shortcut key V, V for victory. Also guys, notice that as I was hitting the bone tool and joining these objects with the bone tool, an armature layer got auto-generated, auto-created, which also means that the layer 1 is now completely empty. It has nothing. Now this happens when you start using the bone tool. The contents of the bone tool get transferred to the armature layer. Now you can very well get rid of layer 1, which I've done. So guys, now I'm going to hit the selection tool, click on any of these boxes, let's say the fourth one, and let me move it. Very good. Okay. Excuse me. Guys, as you can see, the bone tool just gives you something like an extension through which all these four boxes or objects can be connected and moved around. Now there are a few options that we can exercise. There are a few more things that we can do with the bone tool. Let's check them out one by one. For any reason, if you feel that hey, I want these points where the bone is connected to these boxes to be altered, okay, so what you can do is you can hit the free transform tool, the shortcut key for which is Q for cubic, and then this is, guys, this small red, not red circle, this white circle is the point where the bone is connected. I can move it to, let's say, one of the corners. Similarly, I can do it with this third box as well from the left. I can move this white circle to yet another corner and repeat the same with the second box and with the first box. So I've dragged all the points where the bone is connected to the corners. I'm going to hit the selection tool once again, and guys, notice that now the bones are connected to the corners. Let me just drag and move the object to show you. Okay, very good. What else can I do? This time let me click on the sub-selection tool. Okay, now with the help of the sub-selection tool, if I wish, I can get box 2 closer to box 1. In other words, I can get I can make the bone shorter. Bone 3 rather box 3, take it away from box 2. So basically I can alter the length of the bones, the 3 bones, and get these 4 boxes closer or further away from each other. Let me show you how do I do it. I'll just click on this first circle, okay, and pressing the control key, I'm going to move it closer to the second box. I'm going to keep the control key pressed, and I'm going to move this box a little away from the second box, the third one away from the second box, and the fourth one by clicking and dragging inside the circle, keeping the control key pressed on the keyboard. I'm going to get it very close to the third box. So guys, the first box and the second box are very close to each other. The third and the fourth are very close to each other, but the second and the third have been taken further away from each other. So I can alter, if I decide at a later point to change the length of the bone, I can change the point where the bones are connected. So very, very good. What else can I do? Cool. There is so much more that can be done, guys. For example, let me click on this first bone. There are 3 bones, 1, 2, and this is the third one. Okay, I'm going to click back on the selection tool, shortcut key VV for victory, and then I'm going to click on the first bone. The bone is actually green in color. Can I change the color of the bone? Let me just give it a try. Double click here and change the outline color to, let's say, let's try this color out. Yep. By double clicking on the square and changing the outline color, I managed to change the color of the bone. Very good. Now what I wish to do is I'll click on bone number 1 and have a look at the properties inspector. People, there are so many options here: joint rotation, joint X translation, joint Y translation, and spring, as well as damping. Let's check out these options one by one. Let's first confine ourselves to joint rotation. It's by default enabled, guys, and what it does is enables the rotation around the joints. If I disable it like this, and then I try to move this specific bone, it will not rotate. The other bones will, but the first bone, since the joint rotation has been disabled, will not move anymore. Okay, similarly, if I click on the second bone and disable the joint rotation for this as well by clicking on this square and try to move the second bone, so it does not. Similarly with the third bone, I'll disable the joint rotation. Now guys, all I can do is move these boxes, but I cannot move these joints because they have been disabled. Now let me go on enabling them one by one, and the third one. So I've enabled the joint rotation, and now guys you can see that they are in free rotation, all the three bones. If I wanted, I could have constrained the rotation, which means if I enable the joint rotation, click on this constraint button, and by default it picks up a value of -45, a min of 45 degrees to a max of 45 degrees, which means it will not do anything more than 45. Let me show you what I mean. So the max and the min have been set to 45. That's the most I can rotate the first one. Okay, so very cool. So we have learnt the meaning of enable, disable, constraint, min and max values. Just let me get come off the constraint as well as enable, and let me talk a little bit about the X translation. Okay, right now guys, if you notice, the X translation, joint X translation, is disabled. If I try to click the fourth box and try to pull it further away from the first box, it does not, which means something is holding the first box in its place, that is the X translation. If I click on the very first bone, guys, notice that the X translation is disabled. If I enable it, okay, what this does is, as you can read in the tooltip says that it enables the movement along the X-axis, which means now the box should be able to move along the X-axis. See, now it frees the first box to move along the X-axis. Very good. I'm going to say a Control Z, okay, and click on the first bone. If I constrain the X translation, and by default what Flash does is puts two values, a minimum of 50 pixels, that is, and a max of 50. Okay, I can change these settings, but if I keep them to 50 and 50, minus and plus, and then try to move it, guys, it does move along the X-axis, but not more than 50 pixels on either side. So that's very good. And similarly, if I were to come off the X translation and the constraint, I can enable the Y translation. The min and the max values automatically are set to -50 and +50. Now I can change the position of this first box up and down by not more than 50 pixels. So guys, we are learning so much about the bone tool. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off the Y translation and set the enable rotation around joints on. I've set it back to on. That's the way it was. Let me check for the other bones. Yes, everything has been defaulted now. So this is the way things were in the very first place. Okay, very good. Now let's learn something about poses. Let's talk about poses, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the 10th frame on the timeline and say insert pose, and then I'm going to do something. I'm going to just alter the position of these four boxes. Then do the same thing with the frame number 20. Right click and say insert pose and alter the position again. The 30th frame, right click, say insert pose, alter the position again. Okay, and with the 40th frame I'm going to do the same thing, insert pose, and alter the position of the four boxes again. Let me just see what I've done. Let me hit enter on the keyboard. I'll do it again. So it's created a movement. We have 4 or 5 different poses, right guys, with the help of the bone tool, the boxes. Okay, very cool. What else can I do, guys? Notice if I, let's say, go back to the very first frame and click on bone number 1, I get a few options. There is an option called spring, the strength of which is 0, and the damping is a value that if I take it closer to 100, it will decay the springy action, the spring action, the vibration of the spring. The life of the spring gets shorter. So basically this helps to give a little springiness to the movement. If you if I hover the mouse over, it says spring value of the current bone. So every bone can have a spring value. I've put it to 100, which is the maximum value, but I'm keeping the damping. This will neutralize the strength, guys. This is like giving a spring a strength in the negative direction, and it says changes the rate of decay of the spring strength. So basically it kills the springiness or the spring strength. It decreases the spring strength, damping, that is. Okay, so I'm going to keep the damping at 0. Good. I'm going to hit the next bone, and again increase the size, or rather strength of the spring to 100. I'm going to keep the damping 0. And the same will be true for the third bone as well. The strength of the spring to 100, damping 0. Let me just test the movie to see if the springiness works fine, if the spring is very evident or not. I'm gonna say Control Enter. I'm gonna maximize this. Okay, guys, maybe a little bit of springiness is evident. I think it is. It will get even more clear in a little while. Let me come off the publish preview. Now guys, what I'm going to do is, on the timeline, I'm going to click anywhere between the first frame and the 10th frame, anywhere. And when I do that, in the properties inspector, I get an option to enable or disable the spring. I also get an option to give it an ease. I'm going to take the ease to a maximum 100. I'm going to change the ease type to a simple, let's say a simple fast, and then I'm going to click the other pose. I'm going to click between the frame number 10, between frame number 10 and 20, and then I'm going to increase the strength again, and also change the type to a simple fast. I'll repeat the procedure. Click between 20th and 30th frame, increase the strength of the ease to 100. Guys, most of you guys should be aware of what ease is. Ease is how an object starts moving initially slightly faster, then slows down, or does something which is vice versa. Starts fast, stops slow, starts slow, stops fast. That kind of an action is controlled by ease. And then I'm after taking the strength of the ease to 100, I'm going to take the ease type to a simple fast, and then I'm going to click between the 30th and the 40th frame, and the strength again to 100, the type to a simple fast. I'm going to check the publish preview, Control Enter. Now the springiness or the spring strength is quite clearly evident, guys. You can see the springiness, I'm sure. If I actually come off this option which has enabled the spring, I'm going to come off now and do a Control Enter to test the movie. It is not springy anymore. It's more abrupt now. There is no springiness at all. It's like robotic. It's jerky, but it's not springy anymore. I'm gonna come off the publish preview, guys. Guys, I think I've covered almost everything that I know about the bone tool. I have deliberately left the bind tool, which is just below the bone tool, which I'll keep for yet another video tutorial. I think this tutorial has run into several minutes already. So guys, I'll see you next time very soon, trying to explain the bind tool to you. Till that time, guys, keep rocking, enjoy, have a good time. Bye bye.